Today is Saturday, February the 16th, in the year of our Lord, 2019. Fellow Ambazonians, Chris Anu here, your communications secretary. Last week, and this week ending Thursday, February the 14th, went down in the honors of our struggle as one of the remarkable moments in our quest to regain our freedom and independence from French Cameroon annexation, colonization, and domination. For 9 days, 9 solid days, our brave and courageous restoration fighters, the defenders of our territory and our liberation, razzle-dazzled a trained professional army of French Cameroon bound from Fako to Ndongamantung. Our boys refused to be scared by their bayonets, by their machine guns, and the brutal, criminal, indiscriminate arrest and torture of our people. Even Victoria, a city that has never slept since this struggle began, went to sleep. Thanks to the restoration forces. The restoration forces, despite all the threats in our federal capital, Buea, defied the professional terrorists, actually pursuing them into their hideouts from the very start of lockdown till Thursday. The forces in Moyoka, Ekona, and Kuba held onto their own too. Colonial Governor Bernard Okalia is a testament of the bravery of our boys. Okalia, appearing on camera surviving death, looked like an overdue pregnancy in the military fatigue that probably saved his life. He was just lucky that, like in Buea, he again survived this one. In Baitibo, our valiant defenders took to the factory and came out experimenting what has now given them an urge, a re-urge over the firepower of the aggressor colonial army. And so going forward, colonial soldiers would have to take special precautions to enter Mogamo land. The restoration boys are in high spirits in Mbengwe, in Bali, Kumbo, in Dop especially. The same bravery and courage was on display by our restoration forces. Lebialem once more demonstrated its feat as they sent not only colonial military trucks tumbling into its rivers through the bridges, there are at least 3 military armored trucks standing in Minji unmovable. They would have to be towed away for evidence of French Cameroon army humiliation and degradation. In Quebecourt, another locality in Lebialem, it is now being reported that the first colonial general, General Buea, may have met his Waterloo. His convoy, a company of 3 SUVs, a caterpillar, and 2 cars were recovered and towed to Chang after the attack that is reported to have ended the life of the general. As the vehicles were recovered in its wreckage, the only thing not yet recovered is General Buea himself. French Cameroon is still to say anything about the death of their general. Ambazonians are challenging French Cameroon military authorities to show strength and courage and tell the rest of their soldiers in Lebialem who are now running away in droves, and of course, the rest of their nation, what happened to their general. As a promise, the day General Buea shows up alive to confess that he is indeed living, we shall prove to all doubting French Cameroon citizens that indeed Field Marshal is not in the grave, he is alive too. Ladies and gentlemen, lockdown brought French Cameroon to its knees and gave them a model lesson that our destiny is no longer in their palms. We stopped food from entering their country. We stopped them from siphoning our resources. We stopped the tankers. We stopped the timber. We stopped the rubber. We stopped the bananas. We stopped basically everything. We deprived them well over 1 billion CFA every day that we kept our city, our cities, our towns, our country shut down. Their offices remained shut down too. Even Bernard Okalia himself had a good feel of the ghost when he tried sneaking out of Buea. But also very important, this is what we ourselves have to learn from the shutdown. We now know what works and hurts La République du Cameroon the most. We now know how to drain their finances, paralyze their economy, and hold it hostage. In declaring war on us, they thought their soldiers would come and hush us like sniffing dogs, and we will run and surrender. It hasn't worked, and it isn't going to work. Who sees or tastes freedom and let it go? Absolutely nobody. How can we let it go, seeing the ever-mounting callous carnage on our people? May God continue to keep our restoration fighters. May God protect our restoration fighters. May God deliver them. May God continue to permit them with courage and bravery, and may God cause that every weapon directed against them bounce back to their enemies. Sisiko Ayuk Tabi Julius says, thank you to all restoration forces. The interim government, thank you. And Ambazonians everywhere, thank and appreciate you too. You have proven you have the will and the determination to deliver Ambazonia from the jaws and fangs of French Cameroon. The challenge is now that of the diaspora, the local government institutions and the counties to encourage all of you with all that you deserve to prosecute the war and to take it to the next level. What French Cameroon and the international community is learning from the shutdown is that we are progressively asserting authority and control over our territory and our people. We are dictating what happens in the market squares, offices. We are dictating when colonial offices open up for business in our territory. Indeed, we have given colonial slaves like Ekema Patrick additional duty, that of ghost town enforcement. I mean the grounding of taxes on our behalf and the sealing of shops too. Very soon, very soon, we shall be deciding who collect taxes in our territory. We shall also be deciding who collect tolls on our roads. We shall be deciding where Sonara pay taxes to. Very soon, we shall be deciding what happens to all these Chinese companies in our country. Every other country but for China and France has expressed reservations, dismay at French Cameroon's horrors on our people. But the Chinese have continued to give French Cameroon both money and armory to be used in slaughtering our people. The Chinese must be made to pay. The Chinese, ladies and gentlemen, must not be allowed to do business as usual in the southern Cameroons. This message must go loud and clear to every Chinese business out there. We'll make it categorically clear to the Chinese that so long as they continue to provide the Yaoundé regime with the money and the machine that kills our people, no business interest of theirs shall be allowed to operate in the southern Cameroons. No contract of theirs should be seen anywhere in Ambazonia until they have consulted with this interim government of Ambazonia. Fellow Ambazonians, the successes registered with the shutdown didn't come without a price. We lost some of our valiant defenders of the cause, the revolution. Some were killed right in their homes, some were in hospitals, and some on roadsides. The interim government sends sincere sympathies and condolences to the families. We equally sympathize with the victims of the Kumba hospital burning, while condemning in the strongest possible terms the criminal act on a building that treated only the harmless. No one else could have carried out the dastard act on the hospital than French Cameroon soldiers. It is in their character to burn down schools, hospitals, and villages. They have done it before in Batibo, in Mongi, in our local government area. They have kidnapped, raped, and killed students. They burned down churches. Schools in our communities have since shut down because they burned down schools too, like the recent case in Wedekum. Now they are burning even hospitals. Churches, school campuses, and hospitals are protected by international conventions during wars and conflicts such as this. But in the case of French Cameroon, those conventions just do not matter. French Cameroon has broken every international convention by the recklessness by which they prosecute this war. Unfortunately for them, they met their match. This interim government is appealing vehemently to the international community to pressure Yaoundé, the colonial regime in Yaoundé, to arrest the perpetrators of the Kumba arson and, if possible, hang them. But if Yaoundé would not do it, the perpetrators can rest assured that one day, they shall pay for their crimes. Fellow Ambazonians, after declaring our independence restoration on October 1st, 2017, and after banning 20th May celebrations, banning their right to hold the African Cup of Nations, banning their elections in our territory, and banning 11th February celebrations, who says we are not resolved? The international community now know we are passionately resolved to prosecuting this war, this revolution, to the expected end. The international community now knows we mean what we want. They know we are able to sustain the fight. They know that the morale is on our side. How can we fail? How then can we fail? We cannot. We cannot fail. And I have good news for you, ladies and gentlemen. The cards are seriously turning against French Cameroon. We have learned in the last 24 hours that the French are now all over. The French are now all on their own. The rest of the powers that matter in the international community have parted ways from their support and sponsor of the killing, the massacre in Ambazonia. The French are now actually lobbying some southern Cameroon civil societies to go lobby other Western diplomats in Yaoundé on their behalf. And they are telling the civil societies to tell other diplomats in meetings that the carnage in our territory is being masterminded by our own people. Unfortunately for them, the fabrications are not bought. We are on our way to Buea, and it's getting closer and closer by the day. Our only challenge now is to hold tight. But the most important challenge is to get the right equipment into the hands of our defenders, our restoration forces. It means that you have to ask for your local government group right now. Enroll in part and enroll and pay your dues. It has been said that had the boys in Fako got the right equipment, the right machinery, that the colonial governor in Buea would have been in a transition by now. But the right equipment wasn't there. Fako is very, very important in this struggle, ladies and gentlemen. Fako is essentially the reason why they don't want us to go. Fako is where our presidency sits. When Fako falls, Ambazonia would have finally fallen, become a reality. We are appealing to all sons and daughters of Fako to make the Venerable Dr. E.M.L. Ndele proud in his tomb, to finally actualize the dream Dr. Ndele had for the Southern Cameroons. Fako comrades, please make Dr. Ndele proud of you. Rise up, look for your county, donate and support our defenders who are standing on the line, trying to actualize the dream of Dr. E.M.L. Ndele for an independent Southern Cameroons. And this applies to every county and local government area too. You will never blame this interim government if you cannot locate and donate to your local organizations to support this struggle. We must prove to ground zero that we care. And the only way to do so is to join our local government areas and counties to make our donations. If we do, this war will be shorter than expected. La République du Cameroon is tired. They are losing innocent soldiers on the war that wasn't supposed to be. And they are now desperately looking for a way out. The disarmament committee that they created has now given up. And they have turned to the United Nations to send in a disarmament force. We got this as early as yesterday. But the United Nations is questioning them why they sent in troops into Ambazonia in the first place. The United Nations has refused to send any disarmament force, instructing instead that they should withdraw all their troops from Ambazonia. But of course, they are not going to do it for the shame of it. But at least the good news is that we have them between the rock and the hard place. Let's hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. God is fighting for us. Let's help God to help us. Support your local government. Support the restoration forces. Let every county realize the plan. One man, one amber, one AK. Thanks for listening today. Again, this came to you from Chris Anu. And God bless you all.